Hello, good evening. Sir, please, are you talking or because I can't hear anything?
Hello, good evening.
Okay, I can hear you now. Good evening.
Okay, yeah, we will start very soon, in 8 minutes time. Okay, we are adding extra 10 minutes to accommodate for those who are still onboarding. We have 11 people, or let me say, for the learners, you'll be less than 11 people, which means a lot more people are yet to join. In 7 minutes time, we are going to start, regardless of the number which will be on board. But if you do know someone who should be on board and he is not on board, you can alert the person that the session has started. We are kickstarting in 7 minutes time. That will be 10 minutes past 5. Okay. Good evening once again. Please, if you can hear me, give me feedback for me to know that my audio settings, everything is okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes, we
Can,
can hear
can you
you.
also see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So welcome back once again to today's live mentored learning session. This is our first, and for that matter, very important LML session. Before we begin the session, I want to give a quick overview of the program. The reason is that there are a few of us who have joined before the program orientation. So for those of us in that category, and even for those of us who were present at the orientation and you have still not read the orientation document we have attached for you, essentially, the orientation was about the philosophy behind this program, which I'll re-emphasize, and the culture of learning that you need to cultivate to be able to get the best from this program. Okay. So for all of us, this is Mr. Abdul Wahid. Your hand is up. Okay, maybe your hand was up by accident. So you have to come here. And before I forget, please, the best way to really access the module contents in a more friendly way for your eyes and for your reading is to use laptop. Maybe if you're at a tight corner where you cannot use laptop, then you can use phone. Otherwise, I really don't like reading stuff like this on phones. They are too small, and then you need to be disturbing your eyes a lot to be able to focus. So if you are in a comfortable position, let's say you are home like this time or in the evening, please transfer the things to or access the model from your computer. If you want to do so from your computer, you only need to open a browser. Like I'm just going to demonstrate one. Open a browser like here. I've opened a new browser tab. So let's say I've opened a new browser. Two ways you can do that. The page, the specific page, which is where you can access Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a Google application for managing classes like what we are doing. And that page on Google service is simply classroom.google.com. Just like we normally type other addresses, www.ucc.edu.gh and so on and so forth. So when I do classroom.google.com, because I've done it before, you will see that it is already here. But for the first time, you will have to type it in for classroom.google.com. And you know that the web address, we don't have spaces. So they are all one, classroom.google.com. When I go there, because I have logged into, okay, this is fine. So now it will give you this interface. Yeah, so I think this is a new account. So in your case, you are likely to see something like this. So you get this something like a blank slate, not really blank, it's giving you a few information. So here you will see create class, you will see join class. Under the topic, add a class to get started. Or when you come to this plus, you can also get these two controls. You will see join class, create class. They give you the same way. So join class, because we are joining a class. If you're a teacher and you want to use Google Classroom to facilitate your class, you can also learn how to do so by creating classes. And for those of us, majority of us are from Ghana Education Service. And so much of the work they do are biased towards some of you classroom, some of you the office, and some of us general business. Even for those of us in classrooms, we also do business. We probably also do administrative work. So this is a very useful program for almost everything we are doing in life. Whether we are teaching, whether we are doing business, even general personal life management. So if you want to create a class, you can experiment with doing that with Classroom. If you need some help, we can offer you help. But here we do join class. And then it will ask you for class code. It will ask you for class code. I'll share the class code on your platform so that when you are using this process, you just type in the class code to do so. Also on your laptop, you can use the link I sent you. That link already has the class code, everything embedded, so it will not ask you for code. It will only ask you for the Google ID you want to use to join, and that should be the Google ID you gave us, the one that ends as @gmail.com. So same on your computer, when you click on that link, it will open with your browser, and then you will see things like this one. Like this, right? This is better than the phone that is so small and Okay, sorry for the break. I was just hinted that there could be a possible time issue. Please, can you hear my voice?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we can hear.
Charles just
Yeah, we formerly we were asked that the lessons will start at 6. So that is the reason.
that's the confusion, and it's unfortunate. Actually, the LML sessions are scheduled for 5 o'clock. They are scheduled to start at 5. The reason why the orientation time period we started 6:30 was that at that time we had an LML session with the cohort 1 people, and we scheduled it to end like 6:30 so we can do. Otherwise, your session would have started 5. So that has created that time confusion. And I also couldn't remember to tell you that it will be 5. So, but we still need to manage the issue. We will go ahead and then we will repeat the session tomorrow. We will repeat the session tomorrow. Those of you who are here, it's a repetition. So you might not need to join again unless you just want to probably repeat it for yourself. Those of you who are here and maybe they want to repeat it for emphasis, for revision, no problem. But it is actually for those who couldn't make it for the Saturday. Then we'll do the repeat for tomorrow so that they can catch up. In addition to the repeats, the session is also being recorded. So you can watch it over. If you have questions that you want to ask during the repeat session, you can ask the mentor who will be taking us through that session. I hope that is okay.
It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm hoping that getting towards the close of the session, if it is really a time issue, those people might have joined around 6 time, so that I'll also give them this briefing. Then we'll all deliberate on the appropriate time if we have to make it between 6 and 7. The reason is that now cohort 1 is running concurrently with your cohort. So when you start 5, we will have to end at a certain point in time so that DS will continue. So if you like the later one, which is, let's say, 6:30 to 7 thereabouts, we can deliberate, and then when you agree, we will schedule it there so that the cohort 1 people, they have been on the 5, so I'm sure they are used to the 5. So if you want the time later than the 5, we put them on 7 so we can switch. So we will discuss it toward the tail of the session. Okay, so a quick overview of how this particular program is organized. The key philosophy is that traditional classroom learning has many problems. The key problem is that it fails to keep pace with the realities of life. I have been in the education sector for all my life, learning, teaching, learning, teaching, learning, teaching. That's all I do in my life. And I've been in the university since 2005 as a level 100 student, so I know everything that goes on here. But the thing is, we still need to make our people learn, given the fact that there are a lot of changes happening in the world, and if you don't take care, it will take all of us by surprise. So we've built this kind of learning system flexibly for all of us. This is not one of the traditional certificate courses where the emphasis is on you getting grades. Here you can disregard the certificate, even though you'll be given the certificate. Put all your mind on the know-how. So this is what we want you to do. Any lessons we'll be doing, for example, today's session is dedicated for learning how to clean a data set, making it ready for analysis. Whether you are a teacher, you deal with your student records, and that is data. If you're an administrator, you deal with a lot of data records that you need to manage. When you are putting the records together for analysis, there could be a few quality issues. The data need to meet certain quality standards before the analysis can be right on such a data set. So today we are going to look at that bedrock, how you get the data well sorted out for all quality issues, well prepared, so that the analysis built on it will also be right. So as we are taking you through this, we want you to do that relational learning. We will be doing that from our side. Also do that. How do you apply the skill to your classroom data, the student data sets you deal with, the examination, scores and all of those things? How would you be able to manage that data set, build some analysis, extract insight from that data set to help you understand what is going on, what you have to do to correct which problem, and all of those things? They are all in the data, but we need to get the data well set. So that is the frame of mind, to understand and to use it to execute at a job place, not to have a letter A, B, C, D on a sheet of paper. No, that's not the purpose for this. So by the close of the program, you should build that solid skill that can help you to understand data, how to extract insight from data, connect the insight to the issues in your business, prepare recommendations, decisions, and actions to change things for the right thing. That's the overall philosophy behind the program. And we have to break that kind of bigger task or philosophy into specific measurable lessons, so that by the end of it all, we are there. First of all, we broke the whole of this philosophy I've explained to you into modules. So you can see module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5, and module 6 for the 6 weeks. It means each week is for one module. Module 1 takes you through data thinking for business and decision making. Forget about the business. The business here is not in the sense of business as in a bank or traditionally what we understand to be business. Education is business. The classroom thing you are doing is business. The management of educational administration issues, they are all business. So it goes for everything we do in our lives. So data thinking for decision making, basically. And then you see this is the breakdown of that model into pieces of models. Each model, let me open the model overview. It will give us the time allocation, the time you need to spend. You'll realize that you can see some plenty stuff here, but they have been broken down into simple chunks so that it will make the assimilation, everything friendly for our busy schedules and for our learning. It will reduce the cognitive load significantly. So when we look at this, you will see, when I come to the lesson breakdown, is lessons 1 to 5, which will help us to understand data thinking for business decision making or for decision making. 1, how businesses use data to make decisions, types of business data, Excel basics for data preparation. From data to business decision, common mistakes in decision making. This forms the general frame of mind around data-driven decision making, and it's very important model that sets the tone for the rest of them. In terms of time allocation, for this model, you need about, let's use the upper limit, you need about 6 hours. And 6 hours, if you manage your time well, we all can get it. 6 hours. Within the day, read something small, do something small, watch some small video around it. When you get some good time in the office, open your Excel try to do the demonstrations in the video. Try practicing so that when we come to the live session, you'll be able to connect quickly and then you can use it effectively in the workplace. So that's how all of them are organized. So you can see for each of the models ahead of us, the mentored learning session data set is attached to the module overview. The module overview, which we have titled as lesson 0. So today, the data set we are going to use for module 1, which is data cleaning exercise, is this data set. So you will see it as CF Retail V1 Weekend Module 1 Cleaning something something. When you click on it, it will give you a preview. To give you a preview of the data set. Just by your eyes, you might not see any issues of the data set, but the lead instructor for this session will help us to be able to spot the issues that normally come with tabular data sets like the ones we deal with in our office places, and how we use tools to deal with them, setting them right for deeper analysis to help us understand what is happening in our business, happening with our work, and how we can make decisions based on the insights the data is giving us. Yeah. So you can come here and do that. When you want to download, because there was a few issues with the downloading, you can click on it. When I click on it and see this overview, I can come here, you can see open with. Open with. When you come to open with, you can open with Google Sheets. Google Sheets is like Excel, and then you can download it from there. I think that could be the best. Or let me see. Let me click on this 3 dots and see the options. Okay, you can also come to this 3 dots where my mouse is. And then you can say open in a new tab. The new tab will also give you download a tool or download button. So when I do this, it will open the whole data set in a new tab as opposed to previewing it within the same window. So you see this kind of thing. Let's wait for it small to load. Looks like the internet is a bit slow. Okay, so you can see some controls here, including a download button here. So when I press on download, it will download it. And that's how you save it. And when you download, notice where your download will go. Most of the time, the default folder for your downloads is your download folder. So when you go, it will be there. Unless you have assigned the downloads to a different custom folder. Yes. So that is it for the downloading of the data sets that will be attached to the lesson overview for each of the lessons for the weekend LML sessions. And then for the rest, apart from the module overview, which is lesson 0, lesson 1 to 5 for this particular module, after each lesson, you have a quick check, which is like a quick test. So when I click on it, you will see that the quick test is here. I can launch the quick test. Let me click on it and open it for us to see. It's very important for us to understand exactly how the system is so we can prepare. So you can see the questions here, the quick test questions. And then as you deal with them, they are based on the content of the model. So you read through them and use this one to check. If for a reason you have to go back and read, please, we are here for knowledge, not for a grade. So there's no need for us to deceive ourselves. And we have grown past that kind of thing. So you have to go back and read, come back and do this thing again, make sure your mind is now aligned with how things should be, because you need this thing to do real stuff on the job. And this is not set up for marks, even though we will need to make sure that you are doing it for us to achieve our aim as educators of making sure you have you are learning and getting the knowledge. So you will be scored on this. So you make sure you complete them for us. And then at the end of the model, so you'll be doing this kind of thing: lesson, quick check, lesson, quick check, lesson, quick check. And then when you are done with the last lesson, lesson 5, after that, you see this one, SCB practical activity. SCB is a special model developed by CodeFusion. The full name is Supervised Collaborative Brainstorming. Basically, what we are trying to do with that model is we want to actually make people learn the natural way that in society we learn. In the natural setting, when you are learning to do some real stuff like business or something, you discuss something with your friends who have some knowledge about it, with your mom, with your dad, with any relevant person, okay? So here you will have an activity session for data cleaning. I mean, I'm speaking in terms of this particular model. You have an activity, so the activity context is given to you, what you have to practice, and then the data sets are attached here. And this is communal activity. So we will divide you into groups of not more than 5. So now this cohort, we have 30 participants. So 30 divided by 5 will be 6, right? So 6 groups. And each group, you will do the data cleaning exercise, and the lead mentor is going to show you the way. If you have gone through the model lessons, you yourself would have even been able to do it almost close to 100%. Plus, the lead instructor is coming to guide you with your questions, everything. So please, to get a full benefit of this platform and the kind of learning environment we are setting up, please find some time, buy some time, go through the lessons, try something so that your mind is tuned for understanding what the lead instructor will be guiding you through. And that is building you towards the SCB. And the SCB, you are not alone. You have your colleague learners, 4 of them with you, making 5. Don't go and sit somewhere. Don't make yourself so busy, sometimes busy for not so much productive thing. Find time and do this with your colleagues. You will learn so much from each one of you. And that's what we call synergy. You are bringing something, another 5 of you, and you have 5 things as opposed to only 1 thing to yourself. And then this, after this, you are ready to do this one, because this one, the final assignment, which you will have to submit individually, is built very close to the SCB. So the SCB is technically a learning playground, preparing you to be able to be very successful with this one. Not in terms of getting a grade, but in terms of an understanding to go and solve a practical problem on the field. Okay, so that's how all of them are basically organized. So with that said, I will make a quick introduction to our lead instructor for today's LML session for data cleaning. He is, let me go to the people's side. So you see him here. He is Mr. Isaac Bosomtren. He is taking us through today. Tomorrow, Mr. Joshua Serif Ajibade will repeat the session for us, especially given that we have some people who are missing from the session. And if you want to repeat the session too, you can join. Maybe you will have some few questions, then he will clarify for you, or he might want to research and come and help you do that. The focus is on you using the knowledge to solve a real problem on the ground. So anytime you are learning something, connect your mind to the field and start doing something with it. Every questions you get from the field practice, bring it back to the classroom. Okay, so that's an introduction to Mr. Isaac Bosomtren. So I'll give way for him to share his screen and take you through the session. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Isaac Busumche, and I'm to take you through this process today. So I'll urge everyone here to, open the data sets with their Excel, and let's get ready for today's section.
Is that ready? Yes, please.
Okay. So like I just said, today we are going to data cleaning. Data cleaning. Why data cleaning? Data cleaning basically means getting the data set ready for data analysis. So in analytics, one of the key issues we have to look is data cleaning. Data cleaning simply means the process of identifying, correcting, and removing any errors, inconsistency, or duplicates from the data set, and making it ready for analysis. Some will ask why data cleaning. Like the average says garbage in, garbage out. We are dealing with data to draw an insight from it. So the insight from that data will depend on the quality of the data. So sometimes it is not sometimes, it's very important for us to clean our data set before we proceed to the analysis part. So today, data cleaning, where should we start?
Sorry, sir. Please, your voice is quite low. Can you please increase it more for us? Thank you.
Okay. What I'm saying is that we are looking at data cleaning, and data cleaning simply means identifying any issues, errors, inconsistency from the data set, removing it, and making it quality for the analysis. And I'm also saying it is very important for us to do the cleaning, because if we base on a bad data set for our analysis, the insights we are going to draw from that data set will be very poor. And for that matter, it will not help us in making an informed decision. So it is very important for us to clean our data first before you proceed to the analysis. So today, our data cleaning, where should we start? We will start by identifying ourselves with the data sets. So we need to, before you can analyze or clean any data, you need to familiarize yourself with the data set given. So the data set you have, you need to know what the data is before you can even speak to that data or before you can even work with the data. So let's quickly look at this data. What does this data stand for? It is data from where, and we need to get the understanding of this data. So my data here, the name for this data is Retail Weekend Model 1. And when you go through the headings for this data, you could see from A1, we have data ID. We have order ID, order ID. We have the order date, month name, customer segment. We have loyalty status, customer city. We have customer region, the branch name, branch region, category, subcategory, product name, product name. We also have the payment method, channel, unit sold, unit price, discounts in percentage form, net sales, gross profit. Oh, sorry, I'm coming. Oh, why is this still worrying me? There is a screen on my distance. I want to remove it. Kindly bear with me. I'm coming. So now we know the data we are going to work on. The next thing we need to also look at is to perform data quality check or data quality assessment. We need to identify issues or the problems within this data for us to able to correct them or remove this issue from this data set. So my question would be like, let's all scan through this data set and identify any issues within data set. Can we identify any issues with this data set? Please.
Yes, please. You can see that the formatting in the order date. Under the order date. Hello. Please, I was saying that
Please, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Please, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying that if you look at the order date,
yeah,
the arrangement there, you can see that the formatting, some have shifted to the left, others are on the right. So it started with left alignment, then midway number 12 to number 19. It went to right align and then came back to left alignment on the 20th to 25th row.
Okay. Nice observation. Any other?
Yes. Please, I want to add that due to that, when we check the column C, which is the month name, we see February and January. However, if we want to go by the filter, you see a lot of math, including November and co.
Okay.
So it makes the data quite confusing.
Very good. Nice observation. Is there any other? Is there any other issues?
Okay, so when you take the customer segment, you could see the writings in the cell. They are more than the cell. They are longer than the cell. And some are entering the other cells that you can't even see. And it's not only the customer segment. When you take the category, when you take the branch name, when you take the product name, you could see the writings in the cells are more than the cell. So they are entering other places that you can't see the whole thing.
Yeah. That's good. Any other issues?
Yes, I'm also observing from the, is it the column N? Yes, column N, where the online, the store. Let me check the heading first. Yes, the channels that some of the letters are in caps and others are in the regular letters. So that is also another thing that I have observed from here.
Okay.
I also want, I want to ask, when we look at the order ID, I'm seeing from 335, we are moving straight to 337. Then we are moving to 357. Is it that we've named the items, we've coded the items, and then we are recording, or we are only giving serials to the things we are selling? I just want to know that, so that if there is any question I can ask.
Okay. Any other?
Okay, so when you take the headings, for example, order ID, order date, when it's in a particular table, at least the heading should be frozen. So that when you are scrolling down, the heading will remain static there. But this one, when you scroll down, you see the header will also vanish. You scroll down, the header will vanish.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think most of the issues have been identified here. So let's proceed. Like the order ID, the one who asks on the order ID. The order ID is a record that gives uniqueness to every record in this data set. So the order ID makes all the records in this data set unique. So that's the order ID. So it's not like a serial number. It is like primary key given to every record we enter as a transaction. Any transaction we made or any transaction the company made, that order ID or the primary key give a uniqueness of records among all these records. So when you talk of order ID 335, it will be entirely unique from order ID 337. Like when we take for example, like month name there, we have a lot of January there. We have a lot of retail standard for customer segments, but the order ID they give a unique distinguish between, make it different from the first January from the second January. So the order ID are there to give a uniqueness to each of the record there. Now let's go back to the issue. So after familiarizing yourself with this data set, there are a lot of questions you need to ask yourself, and some of these issues has been identified by you guys. And the first I'll talk about is to, when you are doing the data cleaning, after familiarizing yourself with the data, we can also start with identifying any missing values or identify whether there is a blank cells in this data set. But before that, we need to autofit our data set to see clearly the headings of all the columns there. So this autofit, you can select this place to highlight all your data sets, this place. Then come and stand between any of the letters here. Your cursor will turn black like this. Then you double click it. You do the same for the rows. You come between any of the numbers and do the double click. So now you can see the heading clear. Let's also add a border bold to our header for us to see the header clear. We can also freeze the heading for us to see the heading as we scroll down. As we scroll down, so that we can see the header. And how do you do the freeze panel? You select the order ID, you control shift, then you press forward to select all the headings. You come to view, the view tab. You come to the view tab and come and look for the freeze panel. The freeze panel, we are freezing the top row. We are freezing the top row, so you select the freeze top row. And when you scroll down, you will still see the heading. When you scroll down, you still see the header of our data. Now let's start check how to identify missing values or how to identify any blank cells in these data sets. We can identify these blank cells or the missing data in different ways. We can use the function method to identify whether we have blank or missing cells in our data set. Or we can also quickly use the filter section to identify whether we have any blank cells amongst our data. So let's start with the filter method. Let's start with the filter method. Now I'll apply a filter to the data sets. And the filter, you can find it here, sort and filter. You select the filter, or you can also use the control shortcut like Shift Control L will give you the filter. So let's perform or assess and identify these blank cells or missing cells among each column. So let's start with order ID. So when you select or click this arrow key here, it will give you the option to look through all the records in order ID. When you scroll through, you could see there is no blank cells there. So, for example, if this data, if this record or the order ID, let's say we have a blank record like in cell 10. when you click here, at the bottom, you could see a blank here, meaning your cell or your records or your column there contains a blank cells. Let me go back. Control Z. Now let's check for the dates. For the dates, we don't have any blank cells here. So it means the day 2 is okay in terms of missing values or blank cells. When it comes to month name, we don't have any blank cells here. We don't have any blank cell for customer segment. So you do this for each of the columns to identify whether you have missing values or we don't have any missing value. That's the one way of identifying it. Like I said, you can use the function to also identify whether we have blank cells or missing values in our data set. So when it comes to the function side, what we do is that you come to the later part of your data. So let me stand in A28. Then you use the function key count blank. So I will do equal to count blank. I want to count this from this range to see whether we have a blank cells in it or not. So I'll do Control Shift arrow down to select all the range. Then I'll close the parentheses and press Enter. It's giving me 0. It means with the date order ID, we don't have any blank cells there. We don't have any missing values there. We normally use this because with this kind of data we are working on, it is too short. And in reality, when you are doing analytics, you may have a data which contain a records of more than thousands. So you cannot just use your eyes to identify the blanks or blank cells or missing cells. So what you do is that you either use the filter section to identify any blanks in the records or use the function count blank. So with this count blank, you can apply to all the columns. So when you scroll your distance to up to here, you can see from it that it is giving you 0, 0, 0, 0. It means that this data set we are working on, there is no blank cells in it. So let's say, for example, in the customer region, there is a blank cells in it. You could see that we have one here. So when you see that, you know that our customer region, we have a blank cells or missing value there we need to attend to, or we need to look at. Now the next thing we need to also look at is to also identify whether there is any duplicates records in our data sets. We need to check if there are duplicate records in our data sets. And how do we do that? We want to identify them. So like I said, the order ID give uniqueness to every record in this data set. So I will come to the order ID, which is the primary key for this data set, then I'll come and select that range and go to home, come to the conditional formatting. You select highlight as loose, then come and select duplicate. It will give you an option to edit here, which so you are given like a text color or a background color to highlight any duplicates from this data. So if I press OK, you could see that from this data there is no duplicate in it. There is no duplicate in it. How do we find any duplicates in this data set? So let's say, for instance, I copy this data and insert it here. You could see that it has highlighted that I'm having a duplicate data here. So in the red data, which consists of duplicate data, the moment you do the conditional formatting, it will highlight any duplicates in your data. This is signaling you that you have duplicates in your data set. So you need to work on it. You need to remove it from your data. So this is one way of identifying duplicate records. You can also use what we call the function to check whether we have a duplicate data in our data sets. And the function here we are going to use is the unique. We are going to use the unique. So I'll do equals to unique, bracket open. Then I'll come and select the range. Shift Control down. Then you close the parentheses. When you press enter, you could see that it has repeats all the unique values in the order ID down here. But we don't want to just look at the repeat of that column. So I'll instruct the application to count all the unique values here. I will instruct to count all the unique values here. So I will do count A, open brackets. Then I'll come and close the brackets here and press enter. It is giving me 24. How will you know whether what you are doing it is 24? How will you know that this 24 includes duplicates? So when you check the data sets, it starts from excluding the heading. Excluding the heading, it is up to 26. It's up to 26. But the unique count here is 24. So it means that it includes one duplicate in this function. So you need to go and look for it. Please, are you getting it? Hello. Hello.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. We are here.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that with this unique counter and the unique function, it helps you to count the unique values in their records. And what I'm saying is that from the record, it starts from 1 to 26. So when you start the heading from it, the value should left with 25, but the answer here is given 24. So it means that there are duplicates in our data. So we need to go and work on it. I think the best way to do is use the condition formatting. Now, the next thing we need to also look at is the dates section. When you press here, you could see that we have March to November, then it comes to numbers, as in dates, date numbers. So it means that in this records or in this column, the data or the records there are not consistent. We need to make sure that our dates are consistent in that order. So here, what are some of the issues that may happen here? When you put your cursor at B2 and look at this place, you could see the data, the record format is in January. When you move down, it starts with custom. Then it changed back to January. So that's it. So it means that the date section is not consistent in terms of formatting. So we need to also fix that issue. Now, another thing we need to also check is our test. So the test here, I'm talking about the month name up to payment up to channel. They are in text format. And you see, sometimes I think this data set we have here is match screen, but sometimes you may have a data that consists both small letters, caps, mix of both caps and letters. The data or the text section is not consistent. When you get a data like this, you need to make sure that the text or the values in text form are also standardized. If you are using all caps, you should go for all caps. If the work you are doing is to go for a lower case, you go for lowercase. And if it is to be in a standardized form or to be in a proper or capitalized case, you go for that. You shouldn't mix lowercase with uppercase or capitalized case. The data should be consistent. The data should be consistent. And apart from that, we also have a situation whereby, like this January like this, you have this January. When you press it, it is January. Or let me show you something here. We have how many data sets or data values we have in month name. We only have 2 here, right? We only have 2 here. Let's see what happens here. I'm doing 2 space after the January and press enter and go and see how many values we have now. Let me start again. It's not coming. No, my point I'm trying to make is that in a data set or in a text data or values, we might have unwanted spacing or white spacing where your eyes cannot see. So in formatting or making sure that your texts are standardized, we need to also remove any unwanted spacing or any white spacing amongst in the data from it. Because if your text have an unwanted spacing or white spacing among the text, it gives additional unique to that data. Like generally, for instance, I'm talking about if there are any other unwanted spaces to this general, it gives another general in the data set. So it makes analysis some way. Or if you get a situation like this, it can mislead you in making analysis. So before you can analyze, we need to remove all these unwanted spacing or any white spacing in the text from that text before you can proceed. And the last thing, or the last but one thing we also have to look at is our numbers here. Sometimes you may have a data where you see the number like this. You have a data where you have the number like this. We are seeing numbers. When you look at the unit sold, we are seeing it as numbers, but in actual sense, it has been stored as a text. It has been stored as a text. So we need to convert, or we need to change this text to numbers for the system to know that these are numbers. Because when we are doing calculations on these numbers, the system will understand it as text, and any calculation will apply on that to give you error. Not that cells is not cells, because cells there, the system understands cells as text, not a number. So we need to also look at our number sections and make sure that all numbers are not in text, but in numbers. We have to also do a spelling check. We need to do spelling check, because after all these analysis, we are going to make reports on that. We are going to make reports on that. We need to report, and if your some of the spellings are not consistent with the others, it make reporting also some way. It makes it some way. So we need to also look at the spelling check for us to make our data very quality. Now let's start with the issues. How do you fill the blank spaces? Like I said, if you identify the blank space like this, what do you have to do? We need to check and confirm with the one who gave you the data and fix it. Maybe you can also, let's say, at the selling price section, or the data is too large for you to, fix all of them. You can also look at the name of the column, which here we are looking at the selling price. We are looking at the selling price. If it is too small to ignore, you will ignore. If the thing or the values there are too large, for you not to ignore or for it to misinform your analysis, you can apply average of that selling price there to face that mixing value. So usually when the missing values are not many, you just apply, let's say, 0 at that figure side for you to, you shouldn't leave it blank. If you leave it blank, when moving forward, when you are working with, let's say, pivot table and the rest, you have problem in working with data like that. So it is very advisable to place 0 there, or place 0 than leaving it blank. So let me go back. Now let's look at how to remove duplicates from our data. How to remove duplicates from our data. So you come to data, the data tab, and come and select duplicates. So you press OK here. Now you see that the duplicates in the data where it was highlighted red has been removed. I'm taking it again. We have identified that we have a duplicate in our data. So now we need to remove it. What you do is that you come to the data type. You come to the data tab and come and select remove duplicates. Remove duplicates. It is after the text column. Remove duplicates. Then you remove it. You press OK. And the duplicate has been removed. So this is the simple way to remove your duplicate from the data. Now let's also fix the date issue. Let's fix the date issue. Yes, Abraham, Mr. Abraham, Mr. Apia.
Yes, thank you. During the duplicate moving, I observed that the whole row of those duplicates has been removed. And I want to find out, what if we had wanted to just, let's see, remove that were highlighted? Is it possible to do that?
Okay, thank you. So let me take it back and see. You see, the duplicates here, it is not only the numbers here is duplicates. It is duplicates in the whole of this column. So you could see that. Let me highlight these two. You could see that all these records are the same for all the columns there. For all the columns there. So if you are removing it, you need to remove all from the columns. You need to remove it from all the columns, not just the row. If you just do one row, still there will be a duplicate in other columns. Because you want to remove it from all the columns, when it comes to data tab and select the remove duplicates. And you do remove duplicates. It has selected all the columns that we are removing the duplicates from all the columns, not just the row.
Okay.
So it is all the columns we are removing the data. So if I come and do, let's say, I come and do selective, the duplicates of the unselected one will be still there, and which will cause an issue going forward. So we are moving it from all the columns. That's why we select all the columns here. So this is our columns names. That's why we selected all of them to remove it from entire column.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Let me give this practical scenario.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll be working on a data with a data for a people where they have phone numbers, and then some of the phone numbers will be duplicated. But for you not to be able to know which one the phone number belongs to, you just decide to say, okay, let me make it not available for each of them at the moment, so that maybe in the near future, when you get the actual data again, you redo it so that you can move on with whatever analysis you want to do at the particular moment.
Exactly.
So in that sense,
please go on.
How would you the removal of duplicate so that just those numbers for you to carry on with the further analysis you want to do? Thank you.
Okay. So with your question, it means that there is a duplicate in just a column, the contact column.
Yes.
There will be a duplicate in contact column, but our situation here, if you look clearly, if we are to use your example, your scenario as an example, here the person's name is appearing twice, double here. The contact will be 2. Every information of that person is 2. So we remove just one of the data of that person. And in a case where the contacts, meaning you have, I don't know how it will look like. In one column where we are having the same in one column where we are having the same numbers or the same figures there, that not necessarily means that name or the figures there relate to just one person. That's why I started by using the primary key. That primary key or the other ID there give uniqueness to every data there. So if the other ID or the primary key is more than one in that other ID, it means that we have duplicates the records there. Please, I don't know if you are getting it. Because let's say we have a student records.
I get you now.
You get it?
I get you.
So
Yes.
when you are normally when you are doing the duplicate aspect, we do the duplicate, you identify the duplicate as the primary key, which is the data that identify or give uniqueness to every record in your data. So if you don't have any primary key and or any column that give uniqueness to data, it will be difficult for you to identify the double or duplicate records. So let's take, for instance, like this. The process we use to identify the duplicate data, let's go back and do it again to all the data in C. if you select our data and comes to condition formatting, highlight cells rules, and select duplicate, you see the duplicate. We selected the entire data set, so it is giving any duplicates in all the data. But when we did what we did earlier, we searched the duplicates based on the data or other ID, which is the primary key for this data. Please, do we get it? Hello?
Yes, we get you.
Okay.
Initially, I was asking a question. I think I'm getting the clarification, but yet let them ask. So when you identify the duplicates and then you delete, does that mean that the system will keep one and delete one, or it will delete all the duplicates?
No, it will keep one and delete one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if the duplicates are, let's say, more than 2 in the data set, it will keep one of them and remove the rest.
Okay, I understand you. We can continue.
Okay. So now let's fix the dates. Closer. Let's fix the dates. Now we identify that there is inconsistency in the dates, so we need to fix it. Now, when it comes to the normal format here, we normally use the normal format for each for a certain type of data. So for the general form, you will see general. And if you are doing numbers, it should show numbers. If you are dealing with dates, it should show dates. So now we are going to work on dates. We want to fix our dates. So we will select all the dates here. Then apply the date format to it. So the date format, let's select this place. Or you can do Control 1. When you do Control 1, all this category will come. So we are looking for dates. I will select the dates. The dates, some start their dates with day, month, year. Some start with month, day, year. So you need to let the date be consistent. If you are going for month, day, year, you do that. If you are doing day, month, year, you do that. So let me select the first one. I've selected the first one. See, I'm having month, day, and the year for all of the data sets. But you see still there is inconsistency in that. Let's check here. When you do the filter part, you could see March, April, June, July, August, September, and back to numbers again. So we need to still work on the date again. So when it comes to the date, the best way to fix your date is to use the text to column. The best way to fix the date is to use text to column to fix your date. Sometimes, maybe where you are getting the data, the numbers, some will be in general form, some will be in text, some will be in other formats. So for you to get a consistent format, the best way to do is to do text to column. And the text to column, when it comes to the data side, you come to text to column. You select fixed width, then select next. You do next again. Now we have to select the date because we want the date. I want it, so here will give you either year, day, month, the one you want. So let me select this month, day, year, and do finish. So when it comes to this month, day, year, it depends on how your settings, like it is more of computer issue, because if you look at it well, I selected day, month, day, year, but it is giving me day, month, year. Let's try and select the other one and see. I'm doing day, month, and year. And it has fixed. So that's it. So let's go back to the filter and see whether the issue is still there. So when you go back there, you could see all the issues has been fixed. Now we have the 2 months there. And when you go through clearly from this data set, you could say that it's from January to February.
Sir, please, can you take that process again?
Okay. So I'll go back, Control Z, Control Z. We have the data set like this. You select the first one, Shift Control, arrow down to select all the date column. Then you come to Data tab and select Text to column. You do Next and next again. You come and select Date and do the one you want. Day, month, or where is it? Day, month, and year. I do that. Why is it giving the different? So let me try it again. I want my data to be very consistent. Fine. No. Okay. So now this is it. You see, we have now the day, month, and the year. And you come to the filter here, you have no other issue. You have what we have in the data, which is the January and the February. We also talk about how to standardize your text. How to standardize your text. So with the text, we are going to use this functions. Upper, lower, upper, and trim. We are going to use this for function in standardizing our tests. So we are saying that you may have a data set where there are a couple of issues with the test there. Some will be in caps, some will be in lowercase, some will be in capitalized case. So what we need to do is that you look through all the tests and apply this function to them to standardize them. But the truth is that some of the issues we are talking about, you may have a numerous data set where you cannot scroll and identify it one by one. So the standard practice is that when you have a large data set like that, you look for your tests, the column which consists of the text, and apply this function to it. Normally you use the proper to capitalize all the letters there. Or if what you are doing requires you to use upper cases, then you use the upper. And where you are required to use the lower cases, or you prefer to use the lower cases, you apply the lower function to the function. And the trim here is used to remove any unwanted spaces or any white spaces within the text where your eyes cannot even see. You remove it from this data. So now, let's say in this category or customer section, we are having these issues in them. What you need to do is to create or insert any columns before where you are going to work on them. So I have inserted another column E, and you can do it with the keyboard shortcut Shift Control plus. It will give you another column. So I'll start using the lower case. So I will do enter equals to lower, bracket open, and select the text, and I close it. So I have turned this to the lower cases. You can equally do upper cases by using equals to upper. bracket open, then you select the cell name, then you close. It's in uppercase. This is how you apply these functions. And where there are caps and other lower cases, base of them, and you want to standardize it using the proper, you do equals to proper and enter. So here we have SME buyer. The SME is in caps. So let's how it will tend to. So you can double click here. You can double click here to see. So you have the SME tend to S, M in lower cases, like that. With this, if there are unwanted spaces, let's say I have this unwanted spaces, we have this unwanted spaces, we have something like this. In the data set, when you apply the function, you will see still the unwanted spaces are still in this column. In this column. So what we normally do to test is that anytime you applying the proper to it, for you know that some of these spaces or the unwanted spaces, usually if the spaces is after the test, it will be very difficult for you to see. So normally when you are doing the standardize of the test, we do this together. You add the trim, then you bring bracket open and you close the brackets. Which one am I doing? You bring the trim, like I said, you open the brackets, you come and close the brackets here, then you press enter. Now, we have done the first one. You double click to see. So from the E6 and D6, you could see E6 have space before the text. It has been moved. When you look at D20, there is unwanted spaces between retail and standard. It has been removed here. So what we are saying is that when you want to format your test or standardize your test, normally we go trim along with proper for you to do it once. Not that you go and do proper, then you scan through and go and look for unwanted spaces and come back and do trim. You can do the trim and the proper at the same time. The same time, you can also do trim and the lower at the same time, because if you do that, it means that you are doing lower cases at the same time, removing any unwanted spaces from the test. So when you do that, you remove it. Now you have removed it. What next? This, let's say you come and delete this one. When you delete it like this, you see the text we did. The E column, whatever we did, we reference the D column. So if you delete the D column, you have a reference error. You have issue with reference error. So what we normally do is that the tests you have are standardized. You will select all of them, you copy, then you come and paste it here. The D column, you select the first one and come and do paste as values. The 1, 2, 3 here. You do paste as values. So you will see the difference here. We will copy this. This is in formula. But when you look at this one, all the unwanted spaces and the issues we identify has been removed. So what I'm saying that you select this, you copy and come and do paste as values. Or when you come here, you can also do Shift Control V. Shift Control V is the same as paste as values. Now you can delete this one. But because we are going to do for other tests, all the tests, you can either delete this one and start then customer, is it customer city? You can apply to customer. So you do this to all the tests to standardize the test, because you cannot go through a large data set to identify all these issues. So with this proper or standardizing of the test, you apply it to all your test columns there to be sure that you don't have any unwanted or any base of tabs and distance in the data set. So when you do that, you are certain and you are sure that you have standardized your test. So you can do it for the rest of the test. So let's do another one. Then maybe you do the rest on your own. So I will do trim, open bracket, proper, open bracket, then do select the Sunyani. The bracket is 2. I have opened 2 brackets, so I will close 2 brackets, then close it. So now I have the Sunyani. You come and double click it to get the entire customer city. You Control C to copy and come to the same Sunyani and do Shift Control V to copy and paste as value. So we can do the rest to all the tests. Now, let's come to the loyalty status. The loyalty status. With the loyalty status, we are having these categories. We have active, non-VIP. So what we are going to do for this section is to use find and replace function. What I mean is that we want our loyalty status to be active and inactive. Active and inactive. So you could see that we have none. The none, if the person have no loyalty status, then it means the person is inactive. And if it is VIP, VIP is also active, so we can replace the VIP with active. Then we also find none and replace it with inactive. So let's try and do it. I will select the column. I will do, so let me show you the first. You can use this, find and search. And you do find, you come and do, let's do find and replace. So we are doing with inactive first. We are saying we are going to replace none with inactive. So first of all, we need to find none. Then we replace it with inactive. Then you do replace all. We have done that. We are doing the same for VIP. Now I'm not going to choose from the top. I'm doing the keyboard shortcut, Control H. Control H to give me the pop-up. Now we are finding VIP and replace it with active. VIP and replace it with active. Replace all. So we have done that. When it comes to the loyalty status, no. Why are we seeing none? So it means when we are selecting it, we selected from 5 to the end. We did not select these 3. That's why we are having this issue. So when you are selecting or when you are selecting a column, you make sure that you select from the first. I'm not talking about the heading. You select from the first record to the down to the last record. So let's do it again. Control H. You do, we are replacing inactive with none. Now when it comes to quick check, we have active and inactive. So let's talk about the channel. You could see the channel 2, we have the issue I talked about. Some of the records here are in caps, some are in capitalized keys. So here, like I said, all your tests, you need to apply this thing to it. Trim proper to it to remove any unwanted distance and also standardize the cases for you. So I will come and insert a column here. Why should I do? I'll do it here. Equals to trim proper. Then we are doing the channel. So I'll close it. Oh. Equals to trim. Yeah. Mhm. So you will come and double click here. You have fixed that issue. You copy and copy as is at the original place. Then you delete. Now let's look at the numbers. Like I said, these numbers, the unit sold is in text. So we need to convert it back to numbers for you to, because we know that unit sold, the value should be in numbers, not in text. So you need to fix that. And how do you fix it? You can we have a function called values. So you do equals to values. Then you select the text. Right. Do it here. So I have converted it from text to numbers. So I'll copy that and paste it as value. So basically, this is how you are going to use to fix the inconsistency, errors, or any duplicates and correct them in your data set. So this is how you do your data cleaning. So after doing all these things, you go back and check or do a check with all the issue you identified and see if you have corrected all these errors or all these inconsistency. If you have done that, then it means you have done with the cleaning. Then you go ahead and save your data. But before that, I saved this one. It escaped me. before you can do data cleaning on a data set, we don't do cleaning on the original data. You need to create a copy of the original data and do the cleaning on the copied one, not the original one. It escaped me. So take notice on that. Please, any questions?
Okay. So silence here means probably there are no questions. Otherwise, please, let's see your hand up, or you can speak directly if you have a question. Basically, let me wrap this up. Yeah, because our time is up. We have another session to handle. We have had the foundation of data analysis. You cannot do any proper data analysis if your data is messy, if your data is dirty, so to say. So we need to get the data cleaned. And the usual problems or issues that we have with data, usually business data come in this form, rectangular form, like this. If you are dealing with students' data, you will have a column for their registration number, first name, surname, their scores in some respective courses. So almost every business data looks like this in so many ways. And the issues that Sir Ike has helped us to go through them are usual issues with everyday data. Some of the records, when we say a record, an instance of, like if you're taking data on human beings, a complete data for one human being is what we call a record.
Yes.
That record could be duplicated. It's different from having multiple values in a column. Yes. So if you have duplicate records, a whole row is duplicated. We have to remove one, or we have to keep only one. Otherwise, you will inflate that record and it will give unnecessary noise. It will put unnecessary noise in the data and it will sway the analysis in an unwanted direction. So that's why we do all of these things. And then issues of inconsistent labeling, maybe payment method. Some will be capital M, others will be small m. You have to straighten up, trim all of those issues, standardize everything. That is the word, standardize everything. Okay, so thank you very much, Ike, for taking us through this. Okay, someone has his hand up. Baby, please, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Sir Ike, I'm grateful, but
Abraham, please, your hand is up.
Yes, I'm speaking. Can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, I think his hand is up by mistake. So what we have to, let me show something quickly, and then we'll be done, and then we can leave. I hope this is a session. Okay.
Hello.
So basically, Sir Ike has helped us to go through basic issues, fundamental issues that we have with most of the data sets that we deal with in business, in schools, in everyday life. When you go home, do this. This is model 1, right? Go to model 1, go through all the lessons. Lesson 1 talks a lot, step by step, about what Sir Ike has taken us to do. And beautifully, you will see that every lesson in a model, every lesson has attached curated videos. So when you're watching about data-driven decision, this is a lesson on how businesses use data to make decisions. You will see very powerful videos attached. Don't skip them. Watch the videos. So when you get to the lessons on basics of data cleaning, you will also see that we have these very nice videos, which will add to what Sir Ike has helped us to learn, and then you become complete. Before coming to Sir Ike's session, we should have even gone through this, but if we were not able to get time to do that, no problem. Let's go through all of these videos in addition to Sir Ike's video. That session was recorded. I will get the video set up and then share it with you on your platform. Thank you very much for your attention. If there is no question, then we will end the session here. We will meet again next week for Module 2. Please go through Module 2. Module 2 is very important and built on the first model. You are cleaning data sets. So Module 1's SCB activity is on data cleaning. You will need what Sir Ike has taken you through. You will need the videos that we have attached. You will need to learn the content of the model altogether to be able to complete the SCB. We will break all of you into the groups, and then we will give you the schedule of the groups, and then you meet your group members and complete the SCB. The SCB dataset file is attached to the SCB activity. Go to the SCB, the bottom of that page, and then get the dataset downloaded and begin to look at it. Look at it through the lens of what we have learned this evening, through the lens of the videos about data cleaning, and you should be fine. And with your group members' ideas, you should be able to do that job very quickly. And then you do your individual assignments and then submit them at the assignment section. Then you prepare for Module 2. Module 2, you have your data clean. We are now going to summarize the data to get some patterns in the data, to begin to build insight. What is the data telling us? What is happening in our business? So we'll do pivot tables, pivot charts, dashboard, so that we can look at, okay, this is what is going on in the business. And then we'll be going from there to extracting insight, connecting them with the business problems, and then making recommendations and decisions. So that's the key. So thank you very much for your attention. Do I have a question to answer?
Yes. Hello.
Maybe your hand is still up. You can go ahead and talk.
Yes, I want to ask a question, but it appears my network is bad, that I'm unaudible.
Abraham, if you are talking, then it's probably you have muted yourself because we can't hear you and your hand is still up.
Wow, this is so okay. Let me wait.
Okay, so we will end here. Thank you all for your attention. We will meet next week. Bye bye.
But you still didn't settle on the timing.